Hey, all, welcome to this week's episode of the Mike Muldoon podcast. I just want to say, as always, thanks for joining me this week. Today, I think we're gonna keep it short. Now, I know what you're thinking, Michael. You always keep them short. This one just might be shorter. Had a long week last week. I was actually on vacation for a few days, and we took the kids to Disney. So that was fun. Fun for the kids. Disney's always great for kids because everything to them is free. But it was great. It was like the second time we took them in about like the last 18 months. So it was cool. It was a little bit of a surprise. We didn't even tell them they were going to Disney. They thought they were going on a work trip with Daddy. And we kept saying, look, we're going to be passing through in Orlando. I don't want to hear it. I just don't have time to stop at Disney. We just got to keep going. And eventually they just kind of bought it. And we were cruising along, and then eventually we got to Orlando, and my daughter didn't even realize it. My son was the one who finally looked up, and he saw us going through the Walt Disney World arches. He finally looked up and was like, Disney! And he got super excited, and so did my daughter, and then we told them, and they were obviously happy, but it's fun. Disney, anybody who's ever been there, they call it the happiest place on earth, but it can be incredibly stressful. But I'll be honest with you, from through it all, from like the moment we got in the car and set off till we get back, one thing, in some of the chaos, obviously, that goes on road trips and being in Disney and the weather wasn't good, what I tried to do is I always try to remind myself, and I think we all need to remind ourselves that, we've got to find joy in the moments, even if they're hidden in the chaos. It was funny. So when we go to leave, right, we got everything packed up in the car, and we're probably about 2 minutes into the drive. My wife goes, oh my gosh, do we have the magic bands? And, for our passes and all that, I said, I don't know. So I pull over on the side of the road. My wife and I get out, and, we're digging in the trunk, and obviously we don't want to tell the kids what we're looking for. So we kind of do it very sneakily, right? Just reaching in, we find the magic bands. We go, okay. All right, good. We got the bands. We start driving along. We're probably not 5 minutes into it. And my son's like, I have to go to the bathroom. Like, what? We literally just left and I have to go to the bathroom. And I'm on the side road somewhere. And I'm like, oh my, how am I going to do this? And he has to go, right? When a five-year-old goes from not having to go to the bathroom. Well, he's actually 6. I should say he's 6 years old now. He turned 6 the other day. So he goes, it goes from not having to go to emergency, got to go. So I got to pull over on the side of the road, right? This little area. So I pull over, I get him out of the car, and I walk around the car. I step into the woods. My foot gets just falls into mud. Now my shoe's covered. My kid's got a wee. My shoe's covered. I'm like, oh. So my son goes to the bathroom, out there. He goes out. No, son goes, Dad, I think I might have to wash my hands. I might get some on my hands. So now I got a muddy foot. My kid's weeing, and he might have some on his hand. Oh God, crap. So I get them all up. I get them all ready. I get them around the car, get clean, all this stuff. I get them in the car. I'm like, okay, let's go. We start driving along. Within like 15 seconds, my daughter goes, Dad, I'm hungry. And I'm like, oh, come on. Literally, it was just like, for any parent who's seen Bluey, I felt like I was in a Bluey episode. And I go, oh, come on. And I was serious about it. I couldn't believe it. I mean, literally, we're 10 minutes out and we haven't even started this trip and all this stuff is happening. And, but when I yelled that, oh, come on, my daughter, she just burst out laughing, like the biggest belly laugh. It was so hysterical to her that Daddy got so frustrated. And it was in that moment, I had to laugh, and it was adorable and it was cute, and everything we're going through, I just kind of thought about it. I was like, you know what, this is the journey. This is life. And and it's funny, a lot of times it's these things that we end up spending a lot of time talking about. I often tell people, it's not so much the destination, it's the journey. And a lot of times in people's lives, they're always talking about the tough things they went through to get to where they want, right? Everybody wants the story. Very often do people want to live through the story, but when they get to where they want to be, they always just a lot of times talk about the frustrations and the things that were in their way to get there. But I just couldn't believe it. We are 10 minutes into an 8-hour drive, which when you have kids turns into about a 9-hour drive because you got to stop every so often. So, but anyway, getting back to what I'm saying, it was just in that moment I found joy, and it's just something I always try to keep in mind, right? Finding those little moments of joy, appreciation, contentment. These things are just often overlooked in life. And it's important that we take notice of them. And I think the best way to really take notice of, the joy, the small moments in life is there's about 3 different things I think of. One is mindfulness, the other is gratitude, and third, I think, is just perspective. When you focus on the here and now, like, in that situation, if I stop the frustration of, oh my gosh, how much further do we have to drive? How long is this going to be? I can't believe it just started. That becomes a problem. But when you focus on the now and just, in that moment and the absurdity of my son saying, he think he may have peed on his hand, and my foot being in the mud, and my daughter suddenly, the absurdity of crazy as it is, it was actually pretty joyful. It was a memory. It was, and when I stayed present with it, I appreciated it, right? I appreciated that moment. And that's really important, right? In anything, when you focus on the here and now and you become aware of the small pleasures and things going on around you, or just find the bliss even in the chaotic moments, you could be in the middle of a storm, but, appreciate the lightning, appreciate the thunder. When you take that moment to just be present, it's there that you'll find beauty in some, again, the most chaotic situations. And, and as far as like gratitude's concerned, right? We all talk about gratitude, but like cultivating a sense of gratitude for, the small blessings in your life, or even, in that case, the ability to, take my kids to Disney. Not everybody gets a chance to do that. And, and having that appreciation for the ability to be able to do that for my family, is important. And through that trip, I tried to remind myself of that, being grateful for the ability to be able to do this. And again, when things get chaotic in Disney and it's hustle and it's bustle and people are pushing and they're cutting in front of you and nobody ever seems to pay attention to Disney. For anybody who's been there, nobody ever seems to pay attention there. Everybody's on their phone, looking down, walking into you. I just try to remind myself of this, and constantly look at my kids and look at the joy, because for them, it's all joy. Rarely do you ever hear your kids get frustrated about, oh, I can't believe this person cut me off. I can't believe we can't get this. I can't believe how much that costs. Kids are just, they show the ultimate, gratitude of just the ultimate, mindfulness of being present there, and the gratitude, for being there. And, it's in there too, that, when you have gratitude, you'll find the appreciation in the small things. And I think the last thing though, what really hit me a lot there was the appreciation. One of the things about being at Disney is you see a lot of Make-A-Wish, and a lot of times it involves children. And I'm one of the things I'm very grateful for is that my kids, knock on the wood on my table here, but they've been pretty good. My daughter gave us a scare a few years ago when she had a bad stomach issue, and it turned out to be her appendix, which was young. It ruptured at 5, but she was okay, and she's fine. And my son overall has been, of good health. We're really lucky. But when you're seeing these other children that are going through things, and you look at the parents and the families that are around them, you can't imagine, what they must be going through. And that kind of puts things in perspective. It's easy, to get frustrated about waiting on long lines, or it's suddenly raining out, or it might be ruining your day or something. But when you have perspective there, when you see that, it's really easy to just kind of look past it all and really, again, put things in perspective and say, what I'm going through right now is not that big of a deal. And the fact that my kids aren't really bothered by the rain, and they're appreciating the moment, and I'm, seeing the smiles on their face and their enthusiasm for everything that they're involved in, while going through it. It's, it heightens your awareness and your senses to, appreciate, the small things, even in this chaos, and to feel very, very fortunate, again, a lot of those people I saw there, I can't imagine what they're going through, because I've always said, once you become a parent, you've signed up for a lifelong case of perpetual worry. And, so anyway, I guess what I'm saying is ultimately just enjoying the little moments. It's just finding I don't know, beauty if it's a sunset, or joy if it's your kids being crazy and wild, and yet, and as stressed as you might be, the joy that they're getting from it, the laughter. Like I said, every time my daughter does a belly laugh, it just stops me in my track. When she gets on that full uncontrollable laughter, I just love it. And I guess, it's just when you have that, when you look for the joy in things, it's going to really enhance your overall well-being. And just, in small doses may just lead you to improving your life a little bit more, right? The happier we feel, the more happiness we find in the world, the more joy we find in the world, the easier it is to, I guess, face the world. So again, today, I'm sorry it was a little short with you all, but I don't know, that was just something that was on my mind. I don't know if it really came through here, resonated through here. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying, but just again, finding joy, finding smiles, finding beauty in chaos, reminding ourselves that ultimately things aren't that bad. Being grateful and appreciative of your situation that you might be in, how it's helping you grow or how it's helped you grow, putting things in perspective. Like I said, there's a lot of kids in the world who, maybe won't get to Disney. Me fretting over the fact that I'm there at my kids at that point, we're actually at Universal. So they went to Disney and Universal, and we're in the rain. I mean, put in perspective, they're still here. They're having a great time. They've got their Harry Potter wands. They're walking around doing magic. I can sit there and tolerate the rain because they don't care about it. So anyway, all right, that's all I got for you. As always, appreciate any, if you don't hit subscribe, share with your friends, tell your friends about it. I love your comments. Your reviews are really cool too. Feel free to reach out if there's something you like or something you'd like me to elaborate more on. Yeah, let me know. But other than that, as always, I got nothing but love for you.